Good morning. I hope you're staying warm and looking forward to a great day. So the last 3 days, we went over a little bit of the Alter Rebbe's overview or look at the anatomy of what makes the world the way the world is, what makes creation, what makes a Jew the way a Jew is. And in all three, we have three consistent aspects. We have Kedusha, that which is holy. We have that which is parv or neutral, and we have that which is really a negative energy, or could be called evil, or something that's so hidden from godliness that it's not something that we really should have anything to do with or are in a position to be able to elevate, which is our purpose in life, to elevate the world around us. So with that in mind, I just want to bounce off of something I mentioned yesterday concerning the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination we have within us and the negative inclination we have within us. Our constant struggle from within to be moral, to not be moral, to have principles, keep to them or not to keep to them, to and strengthen our values, not to strengthen them, to think spiritual, to think physical, to think coarse or think really lofty things, and try to maintain our focus on what our purpose in life is as a Jew. So this is a constant struggle, but it's not something that's negative at all. As the Alter Rebbe says concerning a Beinoni who's constantly struggling his whole life, that this is his or her whole purpose in life. The struggle is really part of the purpose. So we see something that is very interesting, that when God created the world, he had one overriding principle in mind as far as the goal that God saw for the end product. And that is that these human beings, in particular the Jews, have to have free choice. Now, what is free choice? Free choice, of course, is the ability to choose something, as we say, free of influence to choose. In other words, free choice doesn't mean I'm free to do whatever I want, be whoever I want to be, decide whatever I want to decide. Because very often our decisions and these things are determined by our environment, by our genetics, by circumstances, by our education, and we're really reacting with knee-jerk reactions to many situations, which are not really free choice. Even when it comes to food, if I see a lemon chiffon pie and a chocolate cake, it's not really a free choice that I'm going to choose that chocolate cake, because my DNA is pretty much dictating to me that this is the one you're going to have, buddy, and start eating. So very often, free choice is really refined to a particular area from a Hasidic perspective that we need to understand. Because the free choice goes on even when a negative thought or a positive thought comes into the mind. Free choice starts from that moment in order to decide, do I let this come into my mind? Do I entertain this thought? Do I develop it? Or do I throw it in the garbage or tell it to wait in the waiting room? And that free choice, that moment of free choice, is part and parcel of the whole purpose of creation. Because God wanted that we have that free choice in a way that there is not necessarily anything influencing us one way or the other to go one way or the other way. We could have a great education, a great background, learn Torah our whole life, but when that one thought comes into the mind, we're going to be distracted, we're going to follow it, or we're not going to follow it. And this really is part of the crux of who we are as human beings, in particular as Jews, what Judaism or what Hasidus tries to have us raise the bar to be so self-aware, to be so conscious of ourselves and our free choice on a regular basis. Now, you might ask a very common question: why does free choice have to be so difficult? Why did God set it up in a way where there is very little clarity sometimes, or where I'm so drawn to one thing that I know maybe in my heart is negative, or I know it in my mind that it's negative, but my heart is driving me, and so forth and so on. So it can be very, very difficult to exercise this type of free choice and really choose a value or a moral that we know we should be choosing, but to do it because we know it's the right thing. So I want to throw out an explanation to you, which I've thought about a lot, and that is the following. If free choice were easy, we wouldn't really be accomplishing too much of a purpose. If it was like the natural flow of events in our life to just choose a certain way of doing things, always correct, always right, then what kind of free choice would there be? In fact, there's a real question whether or not a tzaddik has real free choice. Because a tzaddik might have no Yetzer Hara, no evil inclination whatsoever, no voice inside telling him to do anything negative, and as a result, he really is not driven in any way or not distracted in any way. So what kind of choice is that? So we who have free choice, in other words, who have these distractions and have these negative thoughts coming into our mind, we have the option to be able to say no. If it would be easy, it's not a real free choice though. Only when it's really difficult, and in fact, it's very difficult, we have to really garner our energy from within. We have to really strengthen ourselves as far as making sure that we put together all the forces from within to defeat this negativity and to go beyond it or to put it on the side or to not be distracted by it. Then we're really choosing. But as long as, so to say, the majority direction that we're going in is in the direction of this is good or bad, whatever it might be, we're really not choosing. The Rebbe says a very powerful thing in one of the sikhs, which you could live a life with. And he says, that you should choose life. You should choose between life and death, and you should choose between good and evil. So the Rebbe asked the question, what do you mean choose between life and death? What does that mean? Choose life. Of course you're going to choose life as opposed to death. So the Rebbe says it doesn't just mean between life and death. Means live your life in a way, or bachata, live your life in a way of constantly choosing to live, choosing and exercising your free choice of making sure that every day when a thought comes in your mind, opportunity comes your way, hashgacha pratis leads you to a situation where you have a chance to do a mitzvah, a negative thought comes in your mind, whatever it might be, live life in the form of choosing how you're going to live, what you're going to be, what you're going to say, what you're going to do. And that really elevates us to develop a gift that God gave only us human beings. Nobody else in this universe has the ability to choose to be any more than what they are. We have the opportunity, and as a result, I think also the obligation, the privilege, to really become something better than what we are. And we can only do that by going beyond our nature, by bending our nature, by pushing ourselves, by doing something that is perhaps even against our nature, by choosing the right road, choosing the upper road. And that's something that makes us uniquely human. And when we develop that and we master that inner battle that's inside of us, that's constantly tearing us apart and trying to distract us and totally mix up our brains and get us all like a mishmash. But if we start to focus and realize, I don't want to be this anymore. I want to be better than what I have, than the deck that I've been dealt, or the mind that I have, or the distractions I have, or all the negative thoughts that I have. I want to be better than that. So it means developing the art of free choice. Take care. Have a great day. And a good Shabbos also.